Hello, everyone. This is JPO, and today I'm joined with,
Jay.
And Christopher.
and we are a podcast name in brackets, back once again for the monthly edition of the Top 5. And this month we are talking about the top 5 films of 1995. So, Jay, tell us about the box office.
Yeah, this box office is starting to look a little bit more like the top tens we get today. We have sequels, reboots, stuff based on pre-existing IP, even a Disney live action remake, with the 101 Dalmatians. We do still have some exciting originals here, namely Apollo 13 and S7N. That's officially how it's pronounced. I hope everyone on this episode will respect that pronunciation.
Sure.
Yeah, interesting top 10. Die Hard, number one film internationally, though Toy Story domestically was the number one film, I believe. And Waterworld surprisingly showing up here despite its reputation for being a massive box office bomb in the US. It actually made quite a bit of money internationally, which is why it's popping onto the list here, even though it is famously lost a lot of money. I don't know if that bears out if you count international. Anyway, doesn't really matter. Awards. We also have a really interesting awards race here. Braveheart, of course, wins, but we also have the rare kids movie nominated for Best Picture with Babe, and then the rare at this point international film Il Postino, The Postman, also nominated for Best Picture here. The Palme d'Or goes to Underground, which I have never heard of. The Razzie goes to Showgirls, sort of a famous or infamous Razzie win, depending on who you ask.
Well, let's get into our number fives.
Yeah. Speaking of Waterworld, my number five is Waterworld. This is directed by Kevin Reynolds, written by Peter Rader and David Toohey, and yeah, it's Mad Max but in the ocean. Pretty simple concept. The whole world has flooded, and the survivors live on boats or in floating colonies, sort of these rusting metal Mad Max, basically. Yeah, this is a crazy movie that shouldn't exist. Like, this was insanely difficult to film. It sounds like it was an absolute nightmare for everyone involved. Just there's a reason you don't make movies on the ocean. It's just insanely difficult to do. And then they're doing like crazy stunts and all of these stuff with all of these boats, and there's airplane, and it's, yeah, there were sets that were being blown down by hurricanes and just other production. What was it? Just a nightmare to make. um in a way that's like, yeah, this shouldn't exist, and yet it does. And it's also like way too long. Like, it's over 2 hours for the theatrical cut, and the Ulysses cut, which is sort of the the cut that people tend to prefer. It's on the Arrow Blu-ray, which is what I watched it on. That one is nearly 3 hours long, which again, for Mad Max in the ocean, it shouldn't be going on for 3 hours. And like, there are big portions in the middle where it gets a little bit boring, but I don't know. I love it overall. There's like crazy. Again, the action set pieces are absolutely. They have like Sea-Doos like jumping over on ramps over walls, and it's insane. The production design is just really cool. Like, even though the sets were blown down, like the sets look great. Kevin Costner doing his cowboy thing, but in a very, very different setting with a very, very different type of character. Yeah. And then, I mean, one of my favorite elements, I know a lot of people don't like this, but Dennis Hopper plays the villain, and he's like taking his cues from like televangelists, and it's just like a very fun villain performance to have in the middle of this like crazy Mad Max action. Yeah, this is what, like, I would not be mad with you if you just watched like the action scenes of this one. I feel like you get a good experience from that. But if you can find the Ulysses cut, it is a fun time, a long time, but a fun time.
This is one that I've only really known by reputation. I haven't seen it. Maybe one day I will.
Yeah, crazy stunts. That is the reason to watch this, is the stunts, and I mean the production design and everything.
Moving on to number five, Clueless,
Yes.
which I was planning to rewatch and I didn't get around to rewatching. I would like, there's some of those like, there's that like classic DVD with like three girls movies, and it's like Legally Blonde, Mean Girls, and Clueless. And I
Yes, I
feel
have
like
that one.
yeah, it's almost like this unofficial mental trilogy for those who are aware of the DVD. So Clueless, unfortunately, gets the bottom slot. And it's been a while since I've watched it, so I don't remember it a lot. But I enjoy a movie like this. They're fun. So yeah, I actually I bought this like a month or two ago because I was planning to rewatch it and I didn't get around to it. So R.I.P. me. But yeah, yay. I mean, it's Clueless. It's a classic.
Yeah, I need to rewatch this one as well. I remember because I had, before seeing Clueless, I had seen Mean Girls and I'd seen a couple of other sort of that style, the sort of post Clueless teen comedies. I do remember being a little bit in the way that, like, because it originated so many of the tropes and the style, it feels, when you're watching it later, it feels a little less revolutionary. But I did really enjoy it when I watched it, and I do owe it a rewatch. I think it's also worth bringing up, this is one of 4 major Jane Austen adaptations that came out this year. This is an adaptation of Emma.
Oh, wow.
So we'll see if that thread comes back at all in the rest of this episode.
Yeah, I did a production of Emma at my university. It was my senior
Okay,
project.
that's
Um,
fun.
yeah, and then I watched this film. I didn't enjoy my time with this film, and I'll leave it there.
That's too bad.
Yeah. But moving on to my number 5, I have Godzilla versus Destroyer, which is the final film in the Heisei era of Godzilla. And yeah, this one just has this cool concept of a meltdown Godzilla where he's consumed too much radiation and now his body's overheating, and so everything melts around him. And he gets like this cool red and orange glow. His fire breath is red as well. It's just super cool and dope. The stakes are pretty high. Yeah, I mean they go all out on this final one. It's kind of a sad one, but yeah, Heisei Godzilla, very cool and fun to see.
Yeah, I will probably watch this eventually. I do have a goal of eventually watching the Godzillas. I need to turn that into a bigger project, but we'll see.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Well, yeah, my number 4 is, speaking of movies that have already come up this podcast, Showgirls. This is, of course, directed by Paul Verhoeven, written by Joel Esterhaus. They are reteaming after Basic Instinct, which was, I think, on my honorable mentions for the year that came out. But yeah, it's about a young woman who moves to Las Vegas with the dream of becoming a dancer. And it's sort of this classic story of ambition, fame, and showbiz, but specifically here interpreted through the glitz and artifice of the Las Vegas Strip. Um, this is an infamous film. At the time it came out, it was widely panned. Um, it has since then been sort of embraced for its campier elements. It has a cult fan base, and there's even been like a reassessment of it as like this, well, actually it's a dark satire. Personally, I had a very different response to it than any of those. Like, I can see where all 3 of those takes are coming from, and I think they all are valid within the basis of the film. But for me, this just worked on for me without having to approach it with irony. It's excessive and big and broad and sometimes silly and maybe even like at times a little exploitative. It sounds like there haven't been any complaints by the women who were on set for those scenes, but that is a thing that comes up with this film. um but yeah, it's a reflection of those things in real life and in like the Las Vegas Strip, this like very weird singular place where a lot of odd stuff happens, and it's just like, again, it's artifice and glitz and glamour, but it's all fake. um and yeah, that has like a wider representation of like culture and society and the entertainment industry in general. So yeah, I found this film very entertaining and fascinating to watch, even without having to be like approach it through the lens of camp or approach it through the lens of, oh, this is secretly a dark satire. It's like, no, it's, for me, it worked on a much more face value level.
This is one that I was vaguely aware of, but had never seen. So
Yeah, I feel like this one has a reputation of its own.
I honestly was not the most productive in watching films for this year, unfortunately. So number 4 is also another film I hadn't seen in actually a longer time. I also bought a copy of this, but that was like a year ago when the 4K released. Tommy Boy. There was when my roommates in college loved this film growing up and wanted to show it to us. Stars Chris Farley and David Spade. So Chris Farley, classic SNL comedian. Um, so there are definitely some funny, enjoyable things from this film. I definitely one of these days when I'm just not in a not. I feel like maybe there are other films that uh may have made me laugh more, but I definitely feel like there will be a day one day where I'm just like I want to rewatch a film and I want to rewatch something with whimsy, and it'll be Tommy Boy. So that day's coming. It could have been this month, but unfortunately, it wasn't.
I've not seen this one.
Are
Yeah,
you
neither have
interested in
I.
this one, John?
I have no context for it, so no.
Copy.
I feel like this is a classic in like very particular circles where it's like, yeah, I hadn't heard of it until a couple years ago, but it seems to be like very well known for certain groups of people.
Yeah, well, anyway, moving on to my number 4, I have Gamera, the Guardian of the Universe, which is the beginning of Gamera's run into the Heist era. So we get to see the end of Godzilla and the return of Gamera. Gamera is kind of the only kaiju competition to Godzilla. Gamera was also a Showa creation by a different Japanese film studio. They were more lower budget films, so they had a lot of cost cutting, reusing of footage. But like with the Heisei era, they like brought in the money. They honestly are competing with the Godzilla films for being the best films the Heisei era. And to me, Guardian of the Universe was the big competition. Like, I was so impressed watching this one after being disappointed by the show era that I was like, whoa, the production value of this like really stepped up. Um, the model work, the miniature work, I was like flabbergasted. There was like a few shots where I'm looking at it. It's like, oh man, that's a gorgeous extreme wide shot of the city. And then it clicked on me. It's like, hold on, that's a miniature. I'm seeing the monsters in the background. The miniatures are so detailed that I didn't notice that they were miniatures. Like they did such a great job. Cinematography wise, there's like amazing shots. Like the bird sitting on that thing there, like gorgeous. Yeah, just a great kaiju film in general. Um, Great visuals, cinematography, miniature work. Yeah, it's a good fun kaiju time.
Yeah, cool that there's a couple of kaiju movies. I know you've been putting a lot of them on your lists for the 90s, but yeah, cool to see two of them make their way on your list here.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, I guess it's then time for my number 3, which is, speaking of Jane Austen adaptations, Pride and Prejudice. This is the BBC version directed by Simon Langdon and written by Andrew Davies, based on the novel, of course, by Jane Austen. And yeah, this is the classic enemies to lovers, to use modern literary language, romance between the strong-willed Elizabeth Bennet and the reserved Mr. Darcy. And yeah, it's one of Austen's best works, and this series is very faithful in adapting it. And yes, this is a series. This isn't a movie technically, but the way that I knew about it even before
Hmm.
watching it was more as a movie than as a series. People would always call it the 6 hour Pride and Prejudice, as if it is like
Yeah.
you watch all 6 hours in one sitting. Um, yeah, this is a very important movie for my family. I'm pretty sure if I asked my parents what their favorite movies are, this one would be near the top of both their lists. Um, so even though I didn't watch it for a little bit growing up, when I finally did, it felt like it had been in the atmosphere. They had the DVDs and everything, so I knew the iconography. And yeah, sometimes I would get home from school and my mom would be watching it or something. Um, yeah, and I really enjoyed it when I got around to watching it. The way Austen explores the culture of the Regency era through romance and humor is just really compelling and often very funny as well. And it's nice to see an adaptation that is able to bring that out and to kind of make it work for a modern audience. And yeah, this version specifically is anchored by these really incredible performances from Jennifer Eel and Colin Firth, his sort of star-making performance here. And yeah, it's been several years since I've seen this, and I owe it a rewatch. I don't often have a block of 6 hours of time when I could rewatch it. Maybe I just need to approach it episode by episode. And yeah, perhaps I shouldn't be saying this, but this is not my favorite Austen adaptation of 1995. However, I really like it, and I feel like it deserves a mention on my list. But speaking of my favorite Jane Austen adaptation of 1995,
Sense and Sensibility, I put at my number three. Um, I'll be honest. I've seen a few Jane Austen movies, and I hadn't found one to my liking. And I mean, I'll admit, not the biggest fan of British people. Yeah, yeah, but like, I still don't want my distaste for British people or my disconnect with Jane Austen for that to get in the way of ever getting into a Jane Austen story. And so I was really happy that Sense and Sensibility finally was a story that I was able to click with. I definitely wonder if, like, maybe um there's I may talk more grievances another time. But yeah, I think one thing I really liked about Sense and Sensibility is I did like more of an obvious, like, upper class, lower class kind of situation. I thought it was a more intriguing story seeing it from that approach. Um, and then obviously I thought the acting was enjoyable. Uh, I mean, I like romance movies, so I got swept in with the drama. I was pretty invested while watching this film. I really did enjoy it. Yeah, this was great. I was pretty. I think there was obviously a little bit of trepidation because this was another one I kind of like blind purchased for this month. I mean, I've known a lot of people liked it, but I hadn't seen something Jane Austen that I had liked. So for me, it was definitely a bit of a leap of faith. But I'm glad I took said leap, and I really, really did enjoy it.
yeah, this one for me was just such a joy to watch. As someone who has enjoyed a lot of Jane Austen's work, um, that this is an adaptation that feels like it is conveying the original work. I haven't read the original book, I don't think, but I have seen a stage production of it, so I am familiar with the material. But yeah, this one is, as you're saying, it's sort of bringing forward the book. Obviously, has just by its plot, has a lot of class aspects to it, but this is kind of bringing those more to the forefront, bringing a lot more of the humor to the forefront, and then like making the romance a little bit easier to understand from a modern perspective. And yeah, I love all of those elements. The script is actually from Emma Thompson, who of course stars in the film as well. And yeah, she has a very keen sense for how to adapt this. And then it's directed by Ang Lee, who legendary director and someone who is like, I associate him with like very visually meticulous films. And what's really interesting here is that when you look at it, this is very visually meticulous, but when you're watching it, it feels very natural. Um, so yeah, there's like a level of filmmaking that this is why I prefer this slightly to the Pride and Prejudice adaptation of this year, is that the filmmaking level is just so incredible and well executed. And the Pride and Prejudice series is also very well made, but it's on a TV budget, so it's a little bit more limited. Whereas here we're getting just such a sense for the visual storytelling of everything. And yeah, this was really fun to watch. As you said, the performances, Emma Thompson, and this is, I believe, Kate Winslet's first big role after her breakout in Heavenly Creatures. Um, and then Hugh Grant, obviously, very good romantic hero. Alan Rickman, really fun as a romantic hero as well. He's not playing Professor Snape. He's like, he has just a little bit of that Professor Snapeness in here. And then John, I thought you might, if you ever get around to watching this, which I don't assume you will, but Hugh Laurie is in here playing essentially Dr. House, but within this like social structure. He's very funny. He has a couple of scenes and just he's playing it so well. The like sarcastic, no reaction on his face. The way that he plays it is just perfect.
Yeah, I've not seen this film. I did work on a stage production of Sense and Sensibility. I think you maybe saw that one, Christopher.
I honestly don't remember.
CJ was in that one.
Okay, it's possible, but don't know.
Yeah. But going back to Pride and Prejudice, because you just skipped over me for some reason.
Jay was so excited for the transition.
I know.
Was...
I know. Like, I let
Wait,
it slide because it was such a smooth transition.
It was a great transition.
Wait, what? No, that was the order, right? Or did the order change? Has the order changed?
No. I guess John wanted to say something about it.
See.
You did your spiel and you said, but that's not my favorite, Austin.
I see.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that you had even seen the BBC Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah. What has John seen?
So we read Pride and Prejudice for one class. At least I did, and at that time I watched both the later film version with Keira Knightley, and we also in class watched this version.
Okay.
I did not enjoy reading the book. I didn't like the story, but I did really like watching this miniseries, and I preferred it over the film version. And I haven't watched it since, but I enjoyed it at the time. So there you go.
Hey, I'm glad to hear that. That both does and does not surprise me.
The one time we assume John hasn't seen something, he actually saw it.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't even think that. I was just like, oh yeah, of course John hasn't seen this. I didn't even check Letterboxd. Oh yeah, you do have it logged on Letterboxd. Or not logged, but you have it marked watched.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But going on to my number 3, another classic Jane Austen in Die Hard.
Yep. She didn't write any of the other Die Hards, which is very interesting that she only wrote the third one as a novel.
Yeah, it's got her classic things of like,
oh yeah, there's a character who breaks an ankle and has to like be rescued by a romantic hero, and someone ends up with a severe chill that they have to be tended to in a house, and there's a romantic hero who seems like a great guy, but then you find out that he's actually obviously Jane Austen.
And don't forget the Jane Austen classic, bombs.
Yeah, bombs. You got themes of like classism, racism, revenge.
I mean, those are all in Jane Austen books.
Yeah,
I guess the racism not, but the classism and revenge.
I'm sure Jeremy Irons is in the Jane Austen. Maybe not.
Oh yeah, but I was having this conversation with my parents. I'm pretty sure every British actor has been in either a Jane Austen, a Shakespeare, or a Harry Potter.
Anyway, yeah, it is the third Die Hard film. It is like in contention for being my favorite because it's so well constructed. It kind of changes the way the Die Hard films work, because the first two are kind of the same in a sense, and so this one decided to do something a little different. There's like kind of a twist with the villain. You have like Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis like going against each other, and they work really well. It's so well paced. Like the stakes are interesting. It's a great thriller. It's also just really satisfying to go through. It's a pretty cool action one, pretty funny too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And anyone have anything to say for Die Hard with a Vengeance before I this is one that I do need to watch. I actually have the DVD of it. I didn't get around to it for this. I actually haven't seen any Die Hard movies, but this is the one that John McTiernan comes back for this one, right? After not directing Die Hard 2.
Maybe it would make sense.
Yeah, no, I will probably watch this eventually whenever I get around to the Die Hards. Well, yeah, my number 2 is Yeah, I don't know how to preface this one, so I'll just say the title. It's The City of Lost Children. This is directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet and Marc Caro, who previously had directed Delicatessen, which is on my favorite for whatever year that came out. And yeah, it's set in this sort of steampunky city where a bunch of strange stuff is going down. Um, I don't know if I can do really a traditional plot summary. This is the kind of movie that it is a movie for adults, but it feels reminiscent of one of those kids books that you would read that like you're terrified of it but you can't stop reading. It has this like dark melancholic tone, weird dreamlike logic. It's very fascinating, and just on like a pure vibes and visuals level is just so incredible. Yeah, just the kind of film where when I found out this existed, I had to immediately stop everything I was doing and go and watch it, because it is just so up my alley. The vibes, the visuals are just so incredible. The city that they build is, I love it so much. Ron Perlman randomly stars in this. Obviously American actor, but at this point he was doing a lot of international work. He has like the best sweater. It's yeah, this is just on so many levels. I love this film so much. I think the one weakness here unfortunately is the story. There's like a B plot that I'm not fully on board with. It's a little bit too wacky for my preferences, but everything else here is just, I mean, just go and look up a trailer because it's so incredible. Yeah, this is one that I just, again, those aesthetics are just, oh, so perfect. This is one of my absolute favorite. Like if you wanted to fine tune a movie towards my tastes, the aesthetics of this movie and some of the vibes of this movie are exactly what you would need to do. I assume neither of you are familiar
No.
with this one.
Not at all, no.
Did I say
I-
it's a French film? It's a very French film, and I don't know if it's super well known outside of France.
There's
But
part of me. Sorry, go on.
Oh yeah, this is for people who don't know Delicatessen. This is the director of Amelie, did this one,
Oh.
or Resident Evil Resurrections, whatever the fourth, or no, not Resident Evil, Alien Resurrections.
Alien. Okay.
Has some of that vibe though. This one I would say is much, again, it's more steampunky, but it has that sort of everything is wet and yeah.
Did
So good, so good.
Did the Paul W.S. Anderson direct all of those Resident Evils? Like within
No,
that?
he took a break for a couple of those.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Well, this was a year for him with Mortal Kombat, but yeah, that doesn't have anything
right.
to do with it.
My number 2 is a movie called Jay, what is it called?
Your movie is called
7 on this
It's
poster.
a 7N. Yes, that's the official poster, but the title is pronounced the 7N.
Depends what you see, how you read things. Whatever. I'll just say 7. But yeah, I do think this one I did watch last year, but I do want to give this one a rewatch. But it's a David Fincher film. Fincher does well.
Mhm.
And it's like, yeah, just a very good sense of how to make a crime drama. I do think playing the comparison game isn't the best thing to do, regardless. I do think I do like this more than Zodiac, but I do think both of them I owe a rewatch. But yeah, from what I recall, I think as Bong Joon-ho said that 7 influenced Memories of Murder, or one
That
of
would
the
make sense.
influences.
This is
Yeah.
like, I mean, it was because it was such a massive box office hit. It's actually like very influential. You get a lot of the sort of resurgent of, or like this darker
Mhm.
detective and crime movie, and then you see like the Saw movies were directly inspired by Seven.
Oh,
Even stuff like
really?
the Batman. Yeah, the Saw movies are like very specifically the creators of those have been like, this is our idea for Saw came from watching Seven. But even like
Wow.
the Batman movie is very much
Yeah.
drawing from Seven and
I could see that. Yeah. I think Memories Murder is also a film I need to rewatch. I think there's some. I did like Seven. But I do think a rewatch would help me appreciate it more.
yeah.
So I do like Seven.
Yeah. This was when I saw it, it was my first Fincher film. And it was a interesting one to start with, in that it's a pretty rough movie, quote unquote rough, because of like the subject matter, and it's pretty
Yeah.
gruesome with the stuff that it shows, the aftermath of stuff that happens, and so it's like pretty gross to think about. Even for like rewatching as an adult, I'm more conscious. It's like, yeah, it's kind of rough. I don't want to watch it as much, but it is a very fascinating and well constructed mystery and detective story. Um, really going into the dark themes, and it doesn't, spoilers, doesn't really have the happy ending that you would want to have, um, which is, you know, something that we don't always see. I watched this recently again in black and white, and it was a gorgeous looking black and white film. Worked really well for the detective story. And then just the rain, it's raining a whole lot, and that looks great. This film looks really good. It's well constructed. You got really great actors in Morgan Freeman. Is that Brad Pitt? Yeah.
Yep.
Both
Yep.
giving performances. Yeah, it's a very solid one.
Yeah. I do kind of agree with Christopher. I don't like Zodiac as much as I like this one. I don't like Zodiac as much as a lot of people like Zodiac.
I did like Zodiac, but I did find Seven more interesting.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah. And even at that, you're hearing a little bit of hesitation as I was talking about Seven, so even more so with Zodiac. But I don't know. I think that Seven just strikes me as more interesting, I guess. But Zodiac is interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah. 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 I'm a big fan of Seven, and I also owe it a rewatch, but it is, again, it's very well made and like surprise box office hit that has become massively influential.
Well, moving on to my number two, I have Apollo 13. This is directed by Ron Howard. You got a lot of actors that I really enjoy. You got Tom Hanks, you got Gary Sinise, Bill Paxton. Yeah, even got Kevin Bacon in here. Yeah, really solid cast. The story of the Apollo 13, these astronauts who were briefly, quote unquote, stranded in space, um, and have to return home. And yeah, it's a really harrowing story in that way. It's really well constructed to tell that. The emotions really come through. I like space stuff. I like history films, especially about space stuff. So this is a lot of fun. I think they hit all the right beats. Yeah, no, just a really, really good space film.
Have you seen this one, Christopher?
I have not. I know. I think I was just looking up last year. There was like an IMAX re-release of it, and I wanted to
Yeah.
see it, but I didn't get around to it, so I missed it.
Yeah, this is one that I saw. I was like not young, but I was in like upper elementary school or something when I saw this because I was interested in space, and my parents had the DVD, so it was like, oh, this is a
Mhm.
space movie. And yeah, it's such an interesting story and very like compelling story to build a film around. I haven't seen it since then, so I can't speak to it with much intelligence, but I remember really enjoying it at the time. And it's that Ron Howard thing of it's very watchable and the
Yeah.
type of thing that you can show this to basically anyone and they will have a good time with at least some of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension about math and like, oh, we need to get the trajectory right. It's like, all right, you need to put like all this inside a tiny little tube, and like there's a lot of cutting against like the different groups, like the astronauts to mission control to the family to even the media explaining stuff, and they do a really good of job at really explaining the whole situation to you so you understand the stakes and some of the context, so you're not lost in what's going on. And so that makes for like this really great ending and dramatic moment of with like where it ends up. So yeah. Well, before we get into our number ones, why don't we talk about our honorable mentions?
Yeah. So I'll just move quickly through mine. First up is, as always, these are alphabetically rather than ranked. I have Before Sunset, which is two people hanging out in Vienna, talking and falling in love. I felt the listlessness of this more than I would have liked. But overall, I thought this was a really great experience and very deserving of its reputation. Then I have Braveheart. I was not expecting to like this as much as I did, but the battle scenes are just incredible and very influential on Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. I was kind of surprised how much it felt like Lord of the Rings was even lifting directly from Braveheart, very, very effectively, I think. But yeah, then The Celluloid Closet. This is a documentary about gay and lesbian representation in Hollywood that has aged surprisingly well for what it is. Like, this is still a very good resource for learning about the relevant history here, even though it is over 20 years or over 30 years old now. Um, it still is a very good resource. Then The Doom Generation. This is the second Greg Araki film that I have seen, and it is wild and weird and extremely homoerotic while still being a quote unquote heterosexual film. It is literally, the opening credits are a heterosexual film by Greg Araki, and I guess it technically counts. Um, then I have Forgotten Silver. This is a documentary from Costa Botes and Peter Jackson about the New Zealand filmmaker Colin McKenzie. If you're just watching this blind, you'll probably find it somewhat formulaic. If you know what's actually going on with this, it is incredibly entertaining. And like the history behind this film, it's fun. Yeah. Then Napoleon. This probably shouldn't be on my list, but I just felt like that I had to give it a shout out since I loved it as a kid. This is about a puppy who goes on an adventure across the Australian outback, and it's full of like fun, though like probably not great for the animals, scenes of just they take a dog and then they take an Australian animal like a koala, and then just like, oh, they're in the scene together, and obviously there's voice over to try and explain what's going, but it's literally just a dog and a koala on screen together. You're like, oh, I hope everything was done ethically. Yeah. And then next up I have another documentary, Shinjuku Boys. This is about transmasculine people living and working at a bar in Tokyo. And yeah, it's a surprising window onto a culture that I did not know much about. And also just does a really good job of balancing the struggles and the joys of their lives. Yeah, it's really fascinating. Highly recommend checking it out. And then last up, I have To Die For. This is the Gus Van Sant film starring Nicole Kidman, and it's the sort of campy, quote unquote, true crime satire with some really good performances. Yeah, good year.
Yeah.
Good year for documentaries.
Of these films, I've seen Braveheart and Napoleon. Napoleon, I watched a lot as a kid. I have not seen it since I was a kid, so it's been
It's on YouTube, and
it's on YouTube.
I watched the Australian version. Did you watch the Australian or the US version?
It's been more than 15 years, Jay. I cannot
Okay.
tell you. I can tell you it came with like a double feature, like 2 movies in one disc. You just flip the
Okay.
disc and there's another movie. Maybe the other
Yeah.
movie on this disc was Fluke. I don't remember. But I
I was
remember
just very
watching
like,
this a
because
lot.
I don't know how we got the VHS of the Australian version, but I was comparing the two to be like, which one did I watch? And then watching the, like, surely we had the American version, but I was watching it and I'm like, oh no, we had the Australian version, because I'm recognizing the performances of like different lines. Yeah, weird movie.
So the differences is due to actors.
Oh yeah, it's the American version was just, they were worried that, I don't know, that kids in the US wouldn't understand Australian accents or cultural references, so they redubbed it.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
they,
I
they
mean it's
they do that anyway for still with like Bluey or Bob the Builder. So yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
that's
aren't they even doing it with the current like Toy Story 5? Like the UK's getting
I
some
think
different
that is
voices.
specifically it's like regional, like if there's a newscaster or something, they might get a different like a local
Oh,
newscaster in. It depends on the
interesting.
movie.
hmm
Interesting. I still thought it was interesting the fact that that is a thing still, you know?
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
like I
especially
get
for
like
kids I can understand it. But yeah.
I
Or
get
like Train Spotting, like you have to release Train Spotting with English subtitles if you're releasing it in the US, even though it is like in English, because the Scottish accents are very thick in a way that is like, if you don't know how to listen to a Scottish accent, you're not going to understand what they're saying.
when they
yeah,
re-released Train Spotting in theaters a couple weeks ago, do you think it was with subtitles?
I mean, yeah, there are scenes that are literally incomprehensible if you don't have the subtitles, if you don't aren't from Scotland or an area near Scotland.
yeah. To correct myself, they didn't redo Bluey. It's just they had the original voice actors say the line slightly differently to
Okay.
like
Oh wow.
yeah, because there's one about like the Australian version has something about like, oh, I'm so mad I'm gonna pee on the rugs or something, and then the American version they don't do the peeing on the rugs, so it's like different things to get the like H rating right or something. Yeah, Braveheart, uh, really well made, not really historically accurately, but who cares? It's a cinema.
I don't know if this is true, but I feel like I've heard of like kids who watch Peppa Pig and then they start imitating like the British accents.
That wouldn't surprise me. I
Yeah.
I knew someone in growing up who she her parents were from the UK, but she had lived she was attending like an American school and a lot of her friends were American, and she could flawlessly switch between the accents. And like
Oh
one
man.
time she was over at someone's house and she needed to use the bathroom, so she goes to her mom, "Mommy, could I use the loo?" And her mom's like, "Oh, go ask the whoever's hosting this party." And so she walks up, "Could I go to the potty?" Just knew all of the words and could code switch between the
Oh
two
man.
contexts. Yeah,
Man,
kids are incredible in that way. They're
they
very
are.
flexible in their
I also think the British people are just a bunch of liars. I think they can speak normally, but they choose not to.
oh boy.
Um,
I can't
my
do the Ben de la Creme, but pardon me, we originated the language.
Yeah.
oh, I don't know. I doubt this is true, but I heard this. so, like the Brits were so pissed that they lost the Revolutionary War, so they wanted nothing to do with America, so they changed their accent. it's probably not true, but it's so funny to think about.
Oh
Anyways,
boy.
my only honorable mention is Fallen Angels, film by Wong Kar Wai. I think I talked about it last time with Chungking Express. Wong Kar Wai, I don't think I've ever. I mean, I've only seen those two films, and I've seen Fallen Angels twice. I don't think I've fully gotten on his level or wavelength. Wavelength's the better line. But definitely, I think in watching Chungking Express and Fallen Angels for a second time, I get a better understanding. But like Fallen Angels is like my roommate's favorite movie, and I don't know how many times he's seen it. At least half a dozen, and like it clicks for him but it doesn't for me. So there's something I'm missing here. But honorable mention because I have seen this film.
Yeah,
And I
I have
have
also
not.
seen this one. I owe it a rewatch. I didn't like it as much as Chungking Express according to my Letterboxd review, but I don't have a strong memory of why.
Yeah,
I've
just
seen.
looking at the image here, I'm like so confused. He's smoking a cigarette or riding in a motorcycle at high speeds, and I'm like, that's
Both.
dedication and like very impressive that you're able to keep that in your mouth and it not just. Or anyway,
I'm forgetting. exactly. But right. I think Chungking Express, there's an element of approachability because I think maybe visually there are ideas that feel more familiar. But I think Chungking Express has more ideas of like, you know, love. I mean, duh,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like how it kind of works
So when Wong
and the
Kar Wai
beauty
made
of
these,
it. And
because this was shortly before the handover from the British, who we've been talking a lot about this episode, the handover between them and handing the like sovereign or like control of Hong Kong over to the Chinese government. So these are both films about that, not literally but sort of metaphorically. And so Chungking
Mhm.
Express is supposed to be the Hong Kong in the daytime, and then Fallen Angels is Hong Kong in the nighttime.
Mhm.
So they are like
And
twinned films in that sense, but they are
yeah.
very different. And again, one of them is the daytime version and one of them is the nighttime version.
And then also with Fallen Angels kind of being more of with it being nighttime, deals with more those ideas of isolation, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. My roommate has better analysis than I, and I'm not him. Whatever. Anyways, this is the only other 1990 film that I have seen that's not at the bottom. So that's my honorable mention. Would be, what do you got, John?
Yeah, for mine, honorable mentions. First up, I have Memories, which is an anime anthology film with 3 different stories. Only one of those stories has anything to do with memories. The other two are like two completely different things. They're all entertaining in their own right, but like for the title, the first one is like that's the one you go to, and it's like, oh, yep, that's Memories. Really well done.
The first one is
Th-
also the best one.
Honestly, it is. Then there's Jumanji, which is the only good Jumanji film. This one has Robin Williams. It's kind of a scary one to watch as a kid. It's like, oh, you're playing this board game and it's like coming to life and all that. It's oh, I don't want any of this. It's lots of fun, really well done, and all that. Then we have GoldenEye, which is the first James Bond film, at least I've mentioned in this podcast, I think. Um, but it's the first James Bond film in the 90s, and this is also the first one with Pierce Brosnan. This is one that like was constantly hyped up to the point when I watched it, I was so underwhelmed and disappointed by it. Um, I've rewatched it a couple times since. It is a really solid one, but like it's not best of the entire franchise in my mind. It's yeah. Anyway, then there's Casino, another Martin Scorsese film in a similar vein to Goodfellas. So it's crime, people with messed up lives doing messed up things. It's a lot of great acting in it. Yeah. Then I have the Adventures of Young Indiana Jones, Treasure Out of the Peacock's Eye. This is technically a re-release. Um, of a TV show back when they did this weird thing where they combined 2 episodes and re-released them all as like different movies. And so this is one that's kind of more a direct prequel to one of the Indiana Jones films, Temple of Doom. Specifically, they're looking for that crystal that we see at the beginning of Temple of Doom, and that's their wacky adventure in this one. Um, yeah, it's a fun show overall. This one is a fun episode. So yeah. Then there's Babe, about this pig and this farm. It's been a minute since I've seen that film, but I remember really liking it and watching as a kid.
It is very odd. I'll let you
Yes,
finish before I.
it's really odd. Then there's Batman Forever, the first Schumacher Batman film, quote unquote set in the Burton Batman universe. It's a whole thing. This is fun, wacky, great, not great. It's all of that. Yeah, it's a whole thing. I enjoy it, but there are better things than this one. And lastly, I have a Goofy movie, which is a pretty good movie. Some would say it's the best movie in all of cinema. and sometimes you can feel that way. It's a story that works really well as both a kid and as an adult, and you get two different experiences while watching it. I have not rewatched it in a long time, so I cannot give you a personal experience. Maybe one day I will as a dad, but who knows? Yeah,
Do you know who did the music for a Goofy movie, the soundtrack or the score?
Hans Zimmer. I don't know who.
No, it's let me just double check this cuz oh yeah, it is. It's Carter Burwell, who is famous for he's the composer on a lot of the Coen brothers films.
Like I would know that. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I assume John, you would be aware of that. But no, of these, as I mentioned, I've seen Memories, which that first short is
Mm.
so good, and like the aesthetics of it, and the sound, the music, every it's I don't know if it's written by or the story is by, but Satoshi Kon
Uh,
had a hand in the writing of it. Um, and then yeah, the other two shorts don't quite hold up. I think the third one is interesting, but it's the kind of thing of like if you took the first short and you put it at the end of the movie, or even better, if you extended the first short into a feature length film, this
yeah.
would have easily made my top five.
Yeah.
It's the other two shorts that are a little.
Mhm. Yeah, because we started with the Memories one in a film called Memories, and then the other two shorts are not at all about memories. I'm like, oh, that's disappointing. I
Yeah.
like them; they're fun in their own way, but it's like they're not memories. The one that you're thinking about, but it's not
The
like
second one is like, what if a guy had BO so bad that he became like a kaiju type event, but as just like a guy. Like he's not even big. He's just it's just like the response, the like government response is this person who smells so bad that
it's
it kills people.
yeah, who doesn't have like awareness about
No.
anything going on around it. But it's so
Yeah,
ridiculous
no,
that
you start with this like deep and melancholic and this beautiful like sci-fi fantasy, not fantasy, but it has like that, it feels like it's becoming fantasy, and it's about memory and it's about regret, and then yeah, you get the comedic short about the guy with bad BO. Then you get the fun one about the like the city that is firing guns
yeah,
at a city they don't even know. But yeah, the first one is just so good. And then yeah, of these I've also seen Babe, which weird movie. Another Australian kids movie, though this one it's slightly higher production budget than
Australia.
yes, yeah, because it's produced by George Miller and I believe written by George Miller of Mad Max fame, and it was filmed in Australia. It's like a
Oh,
co-production, but it is like yeah,
I thought it was
it is.
UK.
I mean, it feels very UK, like the house is designed very, but no, it.
Mhm.
I think the actors are like doing British or American accents, but it is technically an Australian film. Um, weird movie. It has like a mix of like it's very much for kids, but it has like a little bit of darkness in there that, and then it's like very episodic.
Yeah.
It's one that like I think if I had grown up with it, I would feel very fondly towards it. Watching it as an adult, I'm like, I can understand why this is such a big film for so many people, but it isn't fully working for me. And
Mm.
then yeah, Batman Forever. Val Kilmer, I love the guy. He's not a good Batman. Maybe it's just the direction here. It's
I
also
mean,
it's a fun movie, but I cannot figure out why this 29-year-old man is adopting a 21-year-old man. They
yeah.
did not do a good job of making their version of Robin look young enough for that not to feel really odd. So
Yeah.
I have seen a little bit at the beginning of a Goofy movie, and I've also seen maybe half of Pocahontas. So I thought that was worth mentioning. I remember like when I looked at like last year and I saw, oh, Baby's Day Out released in 94, and I hadn't finished that film, so I went on my way to watch it. And honestly, if I had been more aware slash maybe was better with my time, I probably would have tried to finish a Pocahontas and a Goofy movie.
all I can say
And
with finishing Pocahontas is good luck. That thing is boring.
is it? Okay.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. It is fascinating.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
It is, let's make a serious adult movie, but because it's a Disney movie, every like 3 minutes the raccoon will do something funny as the adults are having an adult conversation. So it's very
Interesting.
weird, but I
Okay.
don't know. I don't know if I can get behind Avatar without the blue people. That's what I.
And musical numbers as well.
The music is good. The music is some of the
Music
music is
good.
good.
Mhm.
Yeah, animation is good
Yep.
too, mostly.
Uh,
Um,
That's
but
gonna
the
be my new
story
bit. I'm gonna call
is the
Dances with
thing.
Wolves and Pocahontas Avatar without the blue people. Reverse that cliche
Yeah.
criticism. Anyway, um, I guess time for number ones then. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, my number one is a little movie called Ghost in the Shell. This is directed by Mamoru Oshii, written by Kazunori Ito, based on inspired by the manga series. I haven't ever read the manga series. I know it's different, especially in tone. But yeah, this is actually set 3 years from now, so we can look forward to the world of this film in the year
Nice.
2029. But yeah, it takes place in this futuristic, unspecified East Asian city state where the semi-autonomous Black Ops security force called Section 9 is tasked with tracking down a legendary hacker known as the Puppet Master. And the mission brings up existential questions about identity, memory, and consciousness for Major Makoto Kusanagi, who has a human brain but a robotic body. Um, yeah, this is just one of my absolute all-time favorites. I adore this film. I have seen it many times. It's so dense with deep ponderings on life and existence, and it can be very incomprehensible, especially the first time you watch it. But each time I rewatch it, I feel like I get a little bit more understanding out of it. But the reason that I keep revisiting though is the vibes. Like, it's the cyberpunk detective story with great action and cool gadgets and that kind of stuff, but it's just also very melancholy, and there's a lot of quietness and stillness. There are multiple times where the film just kind of takes a break, and you just have these like montages of just stuff going on around the city, and what does it look like in the rain, and what are people doing, and it's so beautiful. It's the stuff that I love about Blade Runner, but with its own unique style and tone. And then even like the action scenes are very like sparsely scored, and the what they focus on and where they focus on, and it's unlike anything out there. I highly recommend it. I've seen it in a theater as well, and it's a great theatrical experience, just being able to sit with the quiet moments. um but even at home, you can do that. It's not very long as well. It's pretty quick watch. Again, it will be a little bit incomprehensible the first time you watch it, but the vibes are just so good that, at least for me, I have the desire to rewatch it at least once a year. um Gorgeous animation, incredible film, highly recommend it.
I mean, yeah, the vibes are definitely something else, which is pretty much a lot of anime in the 90s had this very surreal, somber vibe with this kind of Blade Runner futuristic aesthetic, which is pretty cool. Um, this one, it took me a long time to get into it because I don't know. I was always very intimidated to get into this one because, like, the way you talk about it, Jay, you keep propping it up. You tell me it's difficult to understand, and I'm like, all right, well, who knows if I want to get into that? And also, like, the film, we chose the safest images here, but we mostly follow it as somewhat naked chick.
I mean,
Uh,
there's only a couple scenes.
I mean,
I just watched Showgirls, John. It's only a couple of scenes.
sure, yeah, we're adults here. Um, but yeah, those are like intimidating things about it. Animation, gorgeous animation, really well done. Love the vibes and aesthetic. Story, I felt that the story just ends abruptly. Like we get 2/3 into something and then it ends, and I'm like, oh, what happened to the third act? Is this where we're ending? So that's a little disappointing, but it is a solid.
That's why you need to watch it again, because when you watch it again, you're like, oh, that actually is the ending.
Mm, I don't know if I like it either way, but yeah, no, it
I
is.
could go on a rant, but I'm not going to for people to experience this themselves. And I
Mhm.
understand. I understand where you're coming from. It ends in a place where things are a little bit unresolved, but I think that is very much in keeping with the philosophy of the rest of the film.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. My most recent rewatch, I actually rewatched it for this episode just because I was looking for an excuse to rewatch it. And there's like the big scene is like this montage set to, I don't even remember what the title of the song is, but it's the song in the opening credits that then they bring back for this montage of the city in the rain. And I will rewatch that scene often, but there's a second city montage later in the film that just, as I was sitting there watching it, I was like, oh, this is the best scene ever made. It's I love this film. See it at a theater if you can. If not, just don't watch Ghost in the Shell 2.0, which is a remake-ish of this that replaces certain scenes with CG, and it's just watch the original.
There's a few remakes of this.
Yeah.
It's so confusing when you're like, "Oh, is this a sequel?" Nope, it's a remake. Oh, what about this one? No, it's just another remake. Here's a live action remake with Scarlett Johansson. We got two other anime shows that are doing their
Yeah,
own thing.
a new one. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
a lot of Ghost in the Shell.
Mm.
Um, I am I've seen some of Standalone Complex, and obviously I've seen the Scarlett Johansson one, and I've seen the direct sequel to this one. I'm less invested in the rest of the universe. I think this film, I mean, Standalone Complex has some incredible episodes. I need to catch up with that one. But
Yeah. This one
yeah,
also has heavy influence on The Matrix, right?
yes, this is I haven't checked if the legend is true, but apparently the Wachowskis, when they were pitching the Matrix, were like, we want to make something like this. And you watch the Matrix, and it is, because I watched this relatively soon after rewatching some of the Matrix movies, and like the references, there are like specific moments where like, oh, I can see exactly what the Wachowskis were sparking to. And the Matrix is like very, is the Americanized version of some of the ideas from Ghost in the Shell. It has its own interpretation, and it is very, I mean, obviously I'll talk about it more when it comes up on 1999, because that's another favorite of mine. um but yeah, there, I feel like selling this as, oh, this is the movie that inspired the Matrix, this is a very different film than the Matrix. It's much, as you said, it's somber, it's contemplative, it's slower. um yeah, I love it so much. But yeah, speaking of
Um,
animated movies from
Animated
1995.
movies. Yeah. What a surprise. An animated movie is my number one. I love Toy Story, honestly. I have seen the first four movies at least once. I believe this one maybe twice. Um, no more. And it's also been a while since I've watched them. I believe it may have been like 22 when I went through the four, and I watched this one, I believe, in 2020, for the first time. Um, yeah, I do like Toy Story quite a bit. There's definitely I keep saying this. I definitely was like contemplating like, oh, I do want to rewatch Toy Story, but I obviously didn't get around to it. Yeah, I just recall really enjoying this movie. Yeah, so it's not even one of those movies where it's like, oh, nostalgia movie. No, it's not. It's not. I just like this movie. I really like the first three films. The fourth one, not my favorite, but like I love the animation in it, and maybe I just need to rewatch it to get a better sense of what that was trying to be. But yeah, I really do like Toy Story and this movie, and I am optimistic about the fifth one. I'm just like,
Okay.
for me, I feel like Toy Story has always been in a healthy enough place that I'm just like, if you put a sequel in theaters, I'm just gonna go see it, and I don't care if it's not gonna be great. I just like Toy Story enough for me to go see a new one.
Now, John, we talked about this one recently over on Binging Barbie, and actually, I think by the time this episode is up, our review of Toy Story 5 will also be out if people are
Yeah, we
interested
we
in hearing
just
that.
talked about Toy Story 5. We just watched that film, I think last week. So yeah, ready to check that out. I'm sure I have thoughts. I know I have thoughts that we've talked about
Would be funny if
before.
the episode is just 2 minutes long and it's like, okay, here's Toy Story 5. We don't have any thoughts about it.
Truly, yeah, we will though.
We will.
Just
We will. I can guarantee.
we will, even if it's just reinstating stuff we've already said. I've grown up on Toy Story. Here's my a brief, some brief, like those episodes that we've done. I grew up with Toy Story. I grew up watching the first two over and over again. I love them. They're so rewatchable. This first one especially. I love the concept. Yeah, we're watching a lot of stuff for Binging Barbie that has some stuff to do with like toys and appliances coming to life. So, that's been interesting realizing like, oh, here's stuff that led into Toy Story. But yeah, no, Toy Story. It's hard to talk about Toy Story when it's like I've known of its existence my entire life. It's like breathing. It's like breathing water, I guess. um,
Like
sure.
breathing air or like water for a fish. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it's like drinking air, breathing water. Freezing hot fire. Yeah, no. So it's like it's always been around for me, the first two specifically, and like, yeah, I love it. It's I don't know what else to say. It's Toy Story. It's good, rewatchable, great for the whole family. This first one though is pretty wild. Like it's so sarcastic and like not what you expect for Toy Story. Specifically like your view of like the more sanitary Toy Story that we have today. It's like, oh, the first one is something else.
Yeah, I had a very odd experience with this one because I'm not sure if I had seen this before I went to the theater to see the theatrical re-release last year. I either saw it once as a kid or had just never seen it before. I grew up more with Toy Story 2. That's the one that we had on DVD. So watching this for either the first time or the second time as an adult was just such a rewarding experience. I can confirm the thing Christopher said about it's not just nostalgia because this is just a really well constructed film. It's 81 minutes and it uses that time so specifically. And this is one of those films that throughout the development process they kept rewriting and rewriting it. Sometimes that's a sign of there are issues and they don't really know what the movie is supposed to be and it leads to a worse product. Not to call anything specifically out, but the new Masters of the Universe I think suffers a bit from that. But no, here with Toy Story it's clear they refined all of the story elements so perfectly that like they could not have, with the technology of the time, they could not have made a movie that is any longer than this is, and they knew that, and so they had to just whittle everything down and get it as like perfectly constructed so that everything is doing multiple. And it's great, as John was saying, this is also like I hate when people watch a kids movie and go, oh, this movie is actually for adults. Toy Story feels like to me it was written with the understanding of like kids are going to like this movie anyway, so let's try and make this something that adults can like. And so it has like a very adult writing style and humor style and approach to storytelling in a way that even like Toy Story 2 doesn't have.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's very fascinating. I love it. It's my favorite of the Toy Stories. I I think it's just one of those almost perfect films where like I've said this before about other films, but if I were a studio executive, my first note for every movie would be Toy Story is 81 minutes long. Why does your movie have to be longer than 81 minutes? And there are reasons for movies to be longer than 81 minutes. But you watch Toy Story, you're like, why do they ever make movies longer than 81 minutes? This just hits everything perfectly. Yeah, I love Toy Story. I think it is a phenomenon. This is I forgot to say it earlier, but my top 5 list of this year, um there's often some differences between my top 5 here and my Letterboxd here because I'm making stuff for like what movies can I like talk about intelligently. So I love all of the films that are on my top 5 list obviously, but sometimes I'm moving things around, or stuff will be on John or Christopher's list. So I'm like, then okay, yeah, they could talk about that, and then I'll have other things on my list. This year, 3 of my top 5 were on either John or Christopher's list, including Toy Story, and including the next one that John is going to talk about here.
Yeah, the next one that I'm going to talk about here, which is my number one, I have Whisper of the Heart, a Studio Ghibli film. This is my personal favorite Studio Ghibli film, and it's the story of this girl. It's a slice of life story. This girl, she notices like this lots of books in the library have like this name, and so she's looking for this person. She's also in like this period of life where she doesn't know what to do. And throughout the journey of finding this person, discovering like hobbies and passion, we we have this new passion and we build like a little budding romance. And I really love slice of life like anime storytelling. There's something about it that's like, you think for animation you go for like the more imaginative crazy stuff, but to have slice of life, this was just like, oh, pretty nice. It was also the first time I experienced slice of life anime, so that was pretty fun. um but yeah, I also specifically watched this at like a very important time in my life where I was kind of like the main character, like in this transitional period, don't know what direction to go. And so I found like inspiration and connection to this journey of finding things. And I really appreciated that. The animation, gorgeous, it's sweet. There's a sequel, The Cat Returns. I don't love as much as this. It is like not as great compared to this. It's still pretty fun. But yeah, no, this one I really liked. There's a lot of stuff I connected to in this one. So, yeah.
Yeah, Christopher, I know you haven't seen this one. I think this is one that you should seek out at some point.
Brother, I'm really real. Okay, obviously, I wish I was more productive this month, and then like, but then also like just like the blind spots I've also had in like looking at this month, like I mentioned with Pocahontas and Goofy movie that I hadn't finished, and then like I think last Thursday I was at someone's place and she wanted to watch a Studio Ghibli film, and her main thought was Ponyo, but then like at her place she laid out a few of the other DVDs she owned, and I bet Whisper of the Heart was one of them. And if I had known it was 95, I may have been like, and I didn't. And I'm just really.
Hey, there are still opportunities to watch this one. This is one I think I hope whenever you circle around to it, you will enjoy it, because this is.
I hope so.
Just yeah, I watched this for the first time a few years ago and then have rewatched it since, and it is really just one of the best Studio Ghibli films. It is up there with the best of Hayao Miyazaki, the best of Isao Takahata.
Mm-hmm.
It is just so well constructed, and the characters are so deep, and the emotions of it, it's like the joy of it is just so fulfilling to watch. Yeah, it's incredible. I highly recommend this film to anyone.
Yeah.
I watched this with some friends a few years ago, and we all had just a great time, and the conversations that it brings up. But it's like just this perfect coming of age film with like, again, slice of life, but like just the right amount of like fantasy on top of that to like bring in these like very interesting visual. It's just so well made.
Yeah. It's not only like one of my favorite Ghibli films, but it's just one of my top 30 films in general. Like I really loved it and it connected to me, so yeah.
Yeah. Made me rethink how I see the song Country Roads. Is that the title of the song?
Yeah, Country
Roads. Yeah, no, wild song choice, but then the way that the film uses it is just so beautiful. Yeah, highly recommend this one to anyone. Christopher, I think this is going to be up your alley whenever you get around to it. I'm bummed that I missed the IMAX re-release when they did that a few months ago.
Oh, that was another thing. Oh, that I may have been like in Kansas City at the time that was going on, but like, I'm a failure.
Hey, we have lives outside of this podcast. We don't always get to watch everything we want to. There are many movies from this year that I didn't get around to in time.
Well, let's continue this bummer mood by talking about our least favorites of this year.
Yeah, so mine I don't really have much to say about. I just didn't have. I considered putting Napoleon in this spot just so that I could talk about it, even though I don't think it deserves this spot because I do really enjoy it. So instead, here I have Village of the Damned. This is John Carpenter's remake of the 1960s thriller. It just didn't work on any level for me. It's too unintentionally silly to be scary, but too boring to be campy. It's just kind of a nothing movie. Christopher Reeve is in it. He's fun. The music is very good. But yeah, I don't know. Creepy children with white hair and glowing eyes. Like, it wasn't inspiring any fear or enjoyment for me. It was just like, oh, here are the creepy kids again. Oh, they're gonna do something spooky. Oh, that was sillier than it should have been, but not silly enough to be silly.
Oh, this was the year
Oh?
of his accident.
Oh, I did not realize that.
Yeah, so this might have been one
That's
of his last
unfortunate.
ones before the accident.
Yeah, that's really
Mm.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
What happened? I'm aware there was an accident, but I don't know what happened.
Oh, he broke his neck while riding a horse.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, which paralyzed him from the neck down. Anyway, continue.
British people.
So,
I think it was 2007. I talked about a version of Persuasion, and then at that watch party, we followed it up with another version of Persuasion, 1995's Jane Austen's Persuasion. I didn't enjoy it either. I don't remember which one I disliked more. I think it was interesting. There's one scene I believe was filmed at the same location, so I think that was very interesting. At least that I was able to tell. I don't know. Maybe so. One thing I kind of want to mention during Sense and Sensibility, decided to knock it down here, is from my understanding, both the female lead and whatever suitors that that are around are of similar or same social status.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, with Sense and Sensibility, I thought it was way more interesting seeing, the difference of classes. So in this film, it was just a bunch of rich people just like walking around existing, and it kind of I feel like in watching this film it kind of makes me not want to be rich. Like, if this is what being rich looks like, then I don't think I want it. So yeah, and then also it seems like there's a possibility that if you're rich you also could be British, and that also
Oh, boy.
anyways, yeah, so again, I'm very, very thankful that I enjoyed Sense and Sensibility. Maybe I'll watch the Netflix remake of Persuasion to finally understand and enjoy the story. That's a joke. Maybe one day Persuasion will click for me. Maybe I'll understand Jane Austen more. Maybe I just need to read the books.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, unfortunately, Persuasion, the story, or the two versions I watched, they unfortunately don't work for me. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. Don't know. But that's as it stands right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen this adaptation. I did actually read Persuasion for a college course, and it's a very fascinating book because it is a little bit more serious than a lot of Jane Austen's other stuff. It's less overtly humorous, and it's more the romance in it is very odd. And you said that the characters are of a similar class background. They actually aren't.
Oh, okay.
Wentworth, who's the male
My bad.
interest, well, they are both wealthy, but he is actually he has come into his wealth later in life, which is sort of the story of this. Is it's two people who were in love, but then she was persuaded not to marry him. That's the title, Persuasion, by her family. And then he comes back, and now he has become richer, and so now we have this, like, yeah, she already said no, so like what position does that put both of them in? So it's dealing with this
I
very
feel like this is the
interesting.
first I've heard about this story. Hearing you talk about it sounds way more interesting than what I watched. Like to the point where it's like I kind of almost want to like re-experience it.
Yeah,
But
I think the book maybe gets into it a little bit more. But yeah, that is sort of the tension of these things, is this, like, this romance between these two people, and they're older than a lot of Jane Austen protagonists sometimes are, or at least the female lead is older. Um so yeah, it's and it is this weird thing of, like, yeah, these two people, because of the time they're living in, they're kind of talking around each other, and they're having to go through the social scene of their times, and like the expectations. And again, that's where the persuasion as a theme comes in. That one character, she is letting herself be pushed around by the expectations of others. Yeah, I haven't seen the film adaptation, so I can't really speak to that. I remember the fact that the poster is the characters almost kissing was actually, like, is controversial among people who are Jade Austen fans. I think they even share a kiss at one point in the movie, when, like, the social norms of the time, they would not have been kissing at that point of their relationship. I don't know. It's either this version or another version. I don't remember.
I definitely
Again,
know
I
the
haven't.
other version has a scene where the lady, she runs and runs and runs trying to find the man, and then she gets told no, he's in the other direction. So she runs and runs and runs back the other direction, then finds the man. Then they like stare into each other, and their heads start to cock, moving slowly towards each other. It takes like 30 seconds for their lips to finally meet.
Okay.
Uh,
Well,
it's
yeah, that
beautiful
might be
stuff.
then.
I don't know.
Yeah. Whether there should be kissing or not in Jane Austen films is a point of contention, from what I understand. But
Also,
yeah,
my
again, I
comment
haven't
of
seen this
beautiful stuff
film.
was kind of sarcastic. Just want to say,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
laughing a lot when I watched it.
I've not experienced any version of Obsession, so I cannot.
Was that intentional?
What? No.
Did you hear
Your
him say
pronunciation of the
obsession?
word persuasion was a little interesting.
What
It
did I
sounded
say?
like obsession.
Did I say persuasion? Oh, I said obsession. Yeah. Oh,
See, yeah, he said obsession. I'm just like that. I would not expect John to say that
okay.
seriously or unseriously.
I wasn't reading it. Sorry. I just. Yes.
So I have seen persuasion, but in the form of obsession. Obsession was better.
I'm not seen persuasion. Sorry. I don't know what happened to my brain there. Yes. So moving on to my least favorite, I have Ace Ventura 2. We talked about the first one last month, and yeah, it's more the same, though it's insulting in different ways, I suppose. This one, I was so taken aback by the wild escalation in this one. First film, he's a Miami detective solving stuff involving pets. Here, he's like a globe-trotting hero rescuing animals and different things. We opened the film with him, like, rock climbing, saving some birds and such. And it's like, oh, he's an international, renowned hero. And it's, yeah, he goes to the Africa in this one. So you could imagine all the very, very correctly sensitive humor about Africa
Oh
and
no.
tribes and all that. It's more Ace Ventura hero humor. I mean, Jim Carrey is given the performance of a lifetime, and that can be fun. I didn't find the character as interesting or anything interesting. There's a scene where he crawls out of a rhino's butt, which is famous
Oh
for this
yes, I've
one.
seen the GIF. Yeah.
Yes, there's that one. I did not have a good time. I preferred the first film, honestly, which I don't care about any of these films. Too bad, which was such a shame because like they're hyped up by people. But yeah, no, you didn't watch this one, Jay.
No,
So
I had other priorities
I was
this month.
hoping you would,
Okay.
but it's just me here.
From the sounds of it, this is fitting into my pet theory about Ace Ventura, which is that he is actually Nyarlathotep, the Lovecraftian god, who in my understanding of how he becomes Ace Ventura, he becomes bored of whatever, because he's like a bit of a trickster god, but he is like this unbelievably powerful, unknowable, chaotic thing. That he just got bored with whatever he was doing, whatever stuff he was working on. It was just like, hey, what if I became the weirdest person to ever exist? That is my theory about Ace Ventura, that he is a Lovecraftian deity of some kind, because that is the only way that I can make sense of these movies and their sense of humor. So yeah, here you talk about, oh, now he's like an action hero. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That feels like something that an elder god would do if they became.
I said a globe-trotting adventurer.
Globe-trotting adventure. That does feel like something that an elder god with all the power in the universe and a chaotic will would decide to do.
Yeah.
Oh, what a weird franchise.
What a weird franchise.
Well, Jay, are you gonna finish the trilogy from the director of The Sandlot, Ace Ventura Jr. Pet Detective?
No.
No?
I only watched the first two for Jim Carrey.
It has an average of a 1.6 on Letterboxd.
Oh.
The others are around 3. So I guess it's pretty bad.
I haven't seen that poster.
I've seen the poster. I have no interest in watching it.
No, but it's from the director of The Sandlot.
Yeah, so does that mean anything? I know Sandlot's a good movie, but like I don't care.
Well, if The Sandlot's a good movie, then Ace Ventura Jr. Pet Detective or whatever it's called.
It's clearly not
good.
Put that on the DVD box.
It's from the director of The Sandlot, so it must be good.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's the films that we have for 1995. I actually really liked my list for this year. Like, I was pretty confident on most of all of them. The other years, I was like, there's a couple I wasn't. But yeah, I really liked my list for this one. How about you guys?
I feel a little bit iffier on my list. I do love everything on my list, but because so many of my choices were not snatched away. I'm exaggerating for dramatic effect. Because John and Christopher had so many of my choices on their lists already, then I think it's not as strong as other top 5 lists for me. Though again, I love all of the films on my list. That's not a dig on any of the films.
Yeah, I wish I watched more. I think that's just my main regret. I didn't have a lot of juice this month, I guess. So hopefully next month I have a little more juice. So
story of your life. Anyway, that's all we're gonna have for this month. So yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.